One small step for man, but one giant leap for humanity. These were the words that Neil Armstrong said when he first walked on the moon, but he should have said when he turned on his first air conditioner. But it's okay if Neil Armstrong didn't say it, because you know who basically did? Big Daddy Lee Kuan Yew. And you know who agrees with him? Elon Musk, who called him a genius. Let's talk about Lee Kuan Yew's air conditioner obsession. So poops, we were granted the privilege of confronting Papa Lee's views because he was quoted by the content creator Chung Fan, who quoted LKY in saying, "Air conditioning was the most important invention for us, perhaps one of the signal inventions of history. It changed the nature of civilization by making development possible in the tropics. Without air conditioning, you can work only in the cool early morning hours or at dusk. The first thing I did upon becoming Prime Minister was to install air conditioners in buildings where the civil service worked. This was key to public efficiency." And before you know it, Elon Musk responds by saying that Lee Kuan Yew was a genius. Which, by the way, he was, but more about that later. But before you could even scream Roti Canai, people started screaming about how out of touch these people were, about how they are modern day Marie Antoinettes. Throw away the air conditioner. And sure, to be fair, a lot of people do think of these as luxuries, like the kind of thing that people only have because they are spoiled kids, strawberry generation sapoops who don't know what it's like to suffer. The funny thing is, the first time I ever heard anyone talk about how we should never use air conditioners, it was actually in Singapore. See, I have a cousin who actually was doing some sort of environmental studies project one time, and she was like saying that air conditioners will destroy our planet, and we went over to her house to stay for a weekend. And despite the fact that Big Daddy Lee Kuan Yew, her founding Prime Minister, said once upon a time that air conditioners are the signal invention of history, she shut off the air conditioner for all the days that we were there. We were roasting in the Singapore sun and becoming refugees in shopping malls every single day. I mean, we didn't die or anything, but like, bruh. It's nice, by the way, that Chan Chun Sing just released an interview where he talks about how there is no strawberry generation, so turn on those air conditioners, poops. The fun question is, at what point does the air conditioner stop being a spoiled kid allowance and actually become something that people treat seriously as something that actually helps people work, survive, thrive? But it might interest you to know though, that there's an actual logical basis for this. I mean, it wasn't just in like an interview with Lee Kuan Yew, like he has believed this for a very long time. In page 316 of his memoirs, The Singapore Story, he literally said, and I quote, "To give of their best, the ministers had to have air-conditioned offices. That may sound odd, but without air conditioning, efficient work in tropical Singapore would not have been feasible." After my first year at Leong and Ong, I was made to sit in the main office. The heat, humidity, and noise were hellish, especially in the afternoons. My energy was sapped. The clerks would work at only half the normal pace. Typists would make mistakes, and lawyers more errors in correcting them as well as in dictation. The High Court was even worse, for we had to appear with wing collars and tabs and wear a black jacket under our barristers' robes. A dress originally designed for the dank and cold of a London winter. A turning point in my life in terms of comfort and efficiency came in 1954 when Chu and I installed a 1 horsepower air conditioner in the bedroom. Thereafter, we never lost sleep because of heat. So I encourage air conditioning for all government officers. By the way, there's also some research that shows that the human body functions optimally at 21 degrees Celsius. There are actually research papers on this, and that show that at the end of the day, if your body is too warm, then you actually cannot function. You're not actually able to produce the best work that you can. So yep, Lee Kuan Yew was onto something. Like, people can tell you to sit up straight all you want, but the fact is that if you can actually control your environment using technology, whether it's with an air conditioner or with a chair, then why would you not do that? Now, some of you think that comfort is a luxury, but no, it's a necessity. I don't think I need to tell you that people do their best work when they are comfortable, when they feel safe, when all of their physical needs are met. And of course, there's this whole Maslow's hierarchy of needs right here that doesn't include an air conditioner, but it probably should. You know, it's actually kind of funny because if you look at the broader context of this discussion, Trump was actually talking about the heat wave in Europe and how they refuse to install air conditioning and the fact that there are excess deaths that are actually preventable if people go ahead and install air conditioning, which they don't want to. Hashtag carbon emissions, which, to be fair, is a possibly valid argument. But if you're literally making a choice between dying of heat stroke or not having your brain function because it is too hot for you to work, I think the choice is unfortunately kind of obvious. I actually do have environmentalist friends who avoid air conditioners still, but they fly all the time, so it kind of cancels everything out anyway. I mean, we already went way past the IPCC recommendations on greenhouse gas emissions long ago, and it is probably true that the Earth is headed towards some sort of climate change heating scenario that we cannot control, and that is the direct result of human activity. And that is affirmed by a meta-analysis by Cornell University, which is the university of the guy who created the air conditioner. God bless your soul, Willis Carrier. But climate change or not, future generation or not, should that stop you from living life in the present? Should we all migrate to cold countries where we can all work within the optimal range of human activity, temperature? We're not even talking about inequality, colonialism, privilege here, but should you abandon your current life and all the things that you can create, stop doing your best work possible just for an uncertain promise in the future? I mean, there's so much of our modern world that is dedicated towards suffering. We assume that you have to suffer in order to achieve anything great, and people just don't even think about the fact that sometimes controlling your environment is actually needed for you to thrive. That's why I have these chairs, one after another. That's why I collect them. That's why I enjoy them. Precisely because they help you to think, to survive, to be able to exist in this environment where extreme heat is pretty much the default. And it is so hot outside that 5 minutes walking outside is 5 minutes too long. Lee Kuan Yew understood that, he implemented it. Here we are today, and the result is obvious. Now, sure, even after all of this, there will be a lot of you Elon Musk haters out there who talk about how he is so detached, he is like the Marie Antoinette of the 21st century. And there'll be lots of woke people. I know a guy who actually named a cat after Lee Kuan Yew, by the way. You know who you are. But let me just say that Elon Musk had a lot of reasons to say that LKY was a genius that were not related to air conditioning. I mean, amongst other things, I think you probably have to be kind of a genius to become the top student in the entirety of Malaysia and Singapore. But if you think that these are just some third world countries, just know that the guy also became top student in the entirety of Cambridge University. There are scholarships, fellowships, prizes dedicated to Lee Kuan Yew right now, and I know this because I actually corrected his Fitzwilliam College page, which had gone blank, had an email exchange with their director of communications, and actually wrote a book about Lee Kuan Yew. And you can find a link to that in the description right here. It's a nice history of Lee Kuan Yew, his life, his entire legacy. So if you're interested in stuff beyond his air conditioner obsession, then go right ahead and check it out. But anyways, poops, what do you think about LKY's air conditioner obsession? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. That's all to say about that, and bye. Hey Siri, turn off the kitchen AC. Yup.